All right, Rachel, what is going on after some technical difficulties? Welcome to the podcast. How are you doing this afternoon?
Oh, thank you so much for having me on the pod. I am doing well, my friend. It was so good to catch up with you and talk about our goal setting to finish the year strong.
100%. So, the way that we got introduced was I made a post and I was asking about direct bookings and insurance bookings
Yeah.
and on Facebook, and there was just a wall of replies that it seemed like, I don't know the exact, there was at least 20 that had your name shouted out and just raving about you. So that's how we first got kicked off. You have a fan base out there. You have a TV show, or you've been on a TV show, and it seems like you've helped a lot of people and have an awesome business yourself. So real quick, without focusing too much on how you got started, if you could just give us a high level overview of what your business is today and then
Yeah.
what your role in the business is.
Yeah, absolutely. So I am the founder and CEO of both Short Term Gems, the educational side of my business, as well as a rental property portfolio under a number of LLCs. We have a combination of about 57 to 61 or so properties. The range is due to some are under construction at the moment. They're a mix of short term and mid-term rental properties. And the reason is that I started out as one of those hardworking, higher income earners who really needed the tax break. And I could not qualify for real estate professional status. So long term rentals was not necessarily something that was on my radar because I couldn't qualify for those benefits that came from long-term rentals. So I focused fully on short-term rentals and then transitioned many of them into mid-term rentals after I leveraged the STR tax loophole.
Very cool. Okay. And is your business mostly ownership or is it arbitrage, co-hosting? Which path have you followed?
Yeah, that's a great question. Ownership primarily, and then a fund where I got to invest with some of the members inside of my community into purchasing portfolios of properties, partnerships, and things like that. So I did a few arbitrage. I do some strategic arbitrage from time to time, but as we sit here today, I'm not arbitraging at the moment, but I will do like a midterm rental arbitrage if I get a really good deal and I don't have anything available. That's how I lean into arbitrage with the contract in hand.
Okay, awesome. And just for context for the audience, do you know any like yearly rev numbers or top line numbers just so people can kind of have a concept of what the business is? It sounds like it's going awesome, but just for that type of detail.
Oh, that's a great question. I know we just ran our numbers for last quarter. Oh, snap.
Could be
I don't
ballpark.
know. I know for last quarter, we are at 1.2.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, 1.2. So I need to review the annual. I was
Okay, cool.
doing quarterly. Yeah.
And how about the coaching business?
Oh, that's a great question. Yearly 1.2 to 1.6 annually.
Oh, you're crushing it. That's awesome. That means you must be helping a lot of people hit their goals, which is really cool.
Yeah, it's
Um,
amazing. A lot of expenses too, John. So don't get it twisted, my friend.
if you could share if you have ballpark profits too, I do think that is useful for
Yeah.
people, but if you don't want to
About
share that, that's
20.
okay too.
Oh, no, no. We're full transparency here. Come
Oh,
and
that's
take a
amazing.
peek under the hood, my friends. Come and see how the sausage is made. Profit margin is about 20%. Our goal is to improve that to 30% this year.
Gotcha. I love that. I'm
Yeah.
the same way. I'm very open book and I
Hmm.
find it refreshing. I feel like a lot of people aren't. So that's
Yeah.
awesome. And as far as the day-to-day of the business, it seems like you have a lot going on
Yeah.
and that's a massive understatement. But
Yeah.
what do you feel is the best use of your time in the business? And or what do you find yourself doing most of the time?
That's a great question. I'm the visionary. I'm the dreamer. I have a lot of goals and dreams and a vision of where I want the companies to go. And my goal is to have a bigger vision. And what that requires is for me to delegate I
Mm,
have a rock star right hand woman, and she's the operations. She makes all of my wildest dreams come true if it is within our roadmap. If it's not, she looks at me and she says, "That's not on the roadmap."
I love it. That's
So she
awesome.
keeps me on the straight and narrow. And so I go and I create a little note. I have a notepad where I said, these are my private dreams, and she doesn't get to see them. And she knows that I'm hating on her. But it's amazing to work with a team that knows you so well, that is in such alignment, that's a little bit obsessed like you are. And so I gotta say, I'm so grateful for an amazing team. So some of the areas in my business where I feel like it's completely dialed in, some other areas, I was just telling her, I'm questioning some of the, this batch of team members here. And so, just looking back from where I was like 3, 4 years ago, doing it all myself, I've got to like take a step back and be grateful and express some gratitude that yes, I have 3, 4 rock star folks. Not everyone's a
Mm,
rock star or an A player, but we're gonna get there. If our goal is to add just one more A player this year, and the next year we add one more A player with thinking leverage, right? That's the part. Is like I need everyone to have thinking leverage. If I
totally.
can do that, I am like this. The sky's the limit. But we're getting there, John, which is amazing.
That is amazing. It's so
Yeah.
cool to see also that that mindset and that attitude, but when you find those A players, they can do the
Oof.
work of 5 or 7 B and C players. So that's something that was a big breakthrough for me this year, and it sounds like
Yeah.
you have that in place. Just before I do want to talk about the team and like
Yeah.
operations, which sounds like you have a really nice structure in place. As far as like what you think of as your day to day being the
Yeah.
visionary, do you see that as okay? You are mostly like the sales and marketing engine. You are content. You are relationships. You are goals and vision. Or are there other things that maybe are in addition to that, or are those some of those things not really even what you think about?
That's a great question. So I just pulled up my calendar on the side just to, remind myself. So I have my days kind of themed out. So
Oh, I love that.
Mondays are my metrics and marketing Mondays. So I'll put out a post, hope it hits. I'm not the greatest at that. And I'll look at all of our numbers on Mondays. Tuesdays are my nurturing days. So I'm looking at fulfillment, making sure everyone in the program is doing well. Send out a little text message. How can I support you this week? And we have a CRM that helps me to automate that a little bit. And then I add some AI to it to just go a little bit faster. So it doesn't take me that long. Wednesdays are CRO, where I look at all of the conversions to see if all of the money we're putting out on ads or in all of the departments, are we converting it and making it meaningful? Thursdays, client success focus, and Fridays, I call it finance. Fridays, I look at the past week to see, well, how do we make any money? How do we do? And so Mondays, I'm off all day on Monday. I'm focused on like mapping out the rest of the week in my life. And then Tuesdays, I have a lot of meetings on Tuesdays as well as my coaching calls. And then the rest of the week, it's either podcasts for the most part and yeah, and just other meetings and things like that. So Monday is like my tiger day. Like, do not put anything on my calendar unless it's an emergency. And it kind of sets up my week for like focus and really working on my business and not in it as much.
Yeah, that makes total sense. I love that you batch, and it's interesting to hear everyone's approach to it. But I do
Yeah.
something very similar, and it just makes me aware of what I should be doing on different days when there are
Yeah.
always different demands on our time. So
Yeah.
I'd love to talk about your team.
Yeah.
It sounds like you found, the partner integrator to pair
Yeah.
with your visionary.
Hmm.
Curious, like, did you know you needed a person like that? And then where did this person come from? It's something I struggled with for a while also of like,
Yeah.
I know I'm bad at all these things, but who can do them and how do I find that person? So I guess the question for you is, did you know you needed that type of specific person? And then how did you go about finding that person?
Yeah, and when people ask me this, especially about her, I don't even share her name because everyone tries to steal her.
Oh
At first,
no,
when I
I'm not
started
asking
sharing
your
her
name.
name,
No, I
no, I'm just
totally get that.
no, no, I'm just laughing because I mean it's happened. John, I wonder if I have a knack for choosing people or not. They asked the question, but I don't have like a really well defined system. Let me explain to you exactly how it came about. So I was consulting with my coach. I have a business coach, and I was sharing with her how I had found some. It was like an agency that provides you virtual assistants, and they would swap them out if it doesn't work out, that kind of thing. And so I was telling her that I got my executive assistant from there, and they work with me a few hours a day, XYZ. She goes, as a CEO, you need a full time, fully dedicated executive assistant. I was like, no, this is great. They'll just swap it out. What can I lose? And so she kept honing it. You need your own, you need everything else. I mean, she says, this is your core person. Everything else you can kind of outsource that, you don't need 24 hours a day. And not that she works 24 hours a day. And so my current ops manager was actually my website designer. And so she was designing my website. She went out on maternity leave. And I had an executive assistant from that agency that I mentioned to you. And in the middle of a huge launch, she ghosted me. Like one of the days, we were getting a lot of questions from people who had purchased the $97 ticket for it was like a virtual summit. And I had all these speakers. And there were questions coming in, and she wasn't responding. I was like, "Hey, girl, where are you? Hello, where are you? Are you there?" And she lived in Georgia. I live in Georgia, but not we'd never met in person. But the agency had assigned her to me, said maybe it could be a long-term relationship. I was thinking it might be. Ghosted me to this day. I don't know where she is,
Oh my
and
God.
that was like 2 years ago. Well, in 2022. And so my website designer said, "Hey, I see you're going through a lot. Can I chip in? Can I help you in any way? I've got a little bit of bandwidth." And I said, "Sure, but the back end is a hot mess. People are messaging." She goes, "Well, I built the whole website. I see the CRM, I see the messages coming in, I can chip in." And so she started to help me out, and immediately I was like, "Oh, I need you in my life." And so when she came back from maternity leave, she said, "Well, I'm gonna, pick up some my other clients unless you need me a little bit more." And full transparency, and your audience isn't gonna love to hear this. I didn't know I was going to, we were just starting out with the coaching side. I didn't know I was going to be able to afford her based on what I knew she deserved. I took out funding.
Wow.
I took out funding. I took out a small business loan just to put in the bank account to make sure I could afford her. I gave her a nice 6-figure salary. She came on board. She fired everyone, and we made 7 figures that year.
Wow. That's amazing. That's so cool.
Yeah, yeah. And so it was crazy because I had cobbled together just random people that I just placed into the business, like, come and help me. She's like, "What is this person doing here? What are they doing? Why are you paying them?" She's like, "No, enough is enough. Let's start from scratch." I was like, "But," she goes, "Mm-mm, no way." And she was a rock star. So it turned out she had a history of working as an executive assistant for CEOs in the past, and she would do web design for them because she learned it along the way. And her attribute, her superpower is whenever I say, "Hey, can you do this?" She goes, "Yep," and she goes and researches it and figures it out and comes back, and she's like, "Here it is."
That's awesome. I love that. I guess is the takeaway for you on that like hiring within or more so like when you find a good person to double down on them like I mean they all could be takeaways. Those are some
Yeah.
how I think about it, but I love that story just that you saw an opportunity, you saw someone who was special and that they stepped up and you wanted to retain them.
Absolutely. And the biggest takeaway and the scariest takeaway is don't be stingy.
Mm,
If you see if you see someone that could really you see they have the potential to change your life and change your business, look at it as an investment, right?
hmm.
Look at it as an investment because she more than 10x's her salary for me in our business. So sometimes we want to just nickel and dime, and I know it because we're entrepreneurs, we're new to this. We don't know. There's a fear, John, that comes with, well, what if I can't pay them? And rightly so. And I risked it all. I said, either I'm going to go all in on this business or I'm not. which is nuts. Do I recommend it? I don't, but it worked out somehow. I took a bet, but it's like real estate. I take a bet on real estate too. It's like, what if the property is a dud, right? But I had already had the opportunity to see what she could do. And when she
Mm.
told me, okay, I'm gonna go and pick up my other clients now that I'm back on the wait, girl, wait.
Oh,
I need you.
that's so cool. She stepped
Yeah.
up and you recognized it. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And you said she sort of cleaned house on the rest of the
Hmm.
team. Maybe there
Yeah.
were other people that didn't meet her standard. So
No,
can you
we
walk us
did.
through, I guess, what that transition and like rehiring looked like? And I guess maybe if
Yeah.
you could come at it from the context of selfishly, this is something that I struggled with for a long time also. And
Yeah.
so through this lens of like, I felt like I had to be involved with the hiring of all people we brought on and the job posts and the interviews. And then what I found was if I found a better ops person who then could sort of handle that for me, if they had the right values and characteristics, then they could sort of find other people like themselves and
Yep.
screen other people like themselves and bring them on. So uh, if you had any advice on that, or just if you could talk through the story of what happened next then after clean house, this person comes in, and then you're like in the rebuilding phase.
Yeah, so she cleaned house. But it was incrementally. So every
Mm,
month she would let one go. She would let one go just so that we would not completely be without any type of support.
smart.
She built an incredible amount of automations in our business. She became like a Zapier guru overnight, and she learned how to build some of the automations. And she just worked on creating systems around everything. And so we looked at our departments, we drew out our organizational structure and figured out, okay, what's missing. And so what was missing and what was one of my biggest weaknesses was a copywriter, copywriting.
Mm,
And so she made me aware of that. I have, thankfully, as you can tell, I have a good network as well. I may put the word out, and if
mm.
anyone responds, I send them her way. So I'm the, I guess, the girl that's out there. She's antisocial, so she's not out there. So I'll put it out there, and then once she gets the information, then she triages and she works through it. And so we were able to hire our copywriter. The next thing we needed was client success because the coaching practice grew, so it was a little bit more than I could handle from the perspective of kind of the back end customer service things. But I'm still the main coach for our company. So she let me know, okay, we need client success. I say, okay, I know a few people who may work out great. And so she interviewed and she spent like 90 days building out the entire playbook for client success. Like
Wow.
when they enroll, what do you do? What do you do next? What do you do? And then she spent another days training 30 days training this person. And so
Mm,
that's client success. The next thing was the podcast. What do you call it? Like the social media podcast producer assistant. So I would send people her way. I say, okay, she would let me know, okay, here's what we need next. And then I would just put the word out. Again, she would review all the applications, triage and develop their KPIs and let them know every Monday we're going to meet and I need to know this number. And so since I'm the visionary, I'm not allowed in those meetings because I derail meetings. I just go in, I'm like, and everyone's confused, like, what do we do? She wants this. She's like, no, no, no. Anything she asks of you, run it through me first.
I love that.
So so that's I know. I had to make my peace with it. At one point, not gonna lie, John, at one point I got jealous. I told my coach, oh my gosh, if she's doing everything, what am I supposed to do? I
Mm,
don't think I've ever said that on a podcast before.
you heard it here, but that's a real thing. And like, I think it's also, like we want to feel useful in our
Yeah.
business, but also I think I felt that before also of then are the people more loyal to her than the company or loyal to me? I start getting a
Yeah.
little nervous of like, things seem to be going great, but like, how can I make sure that I'm involved and also
Yeah.
helping the team so that, they're bought into the company and not just a person, but also like
Yeah.
who doesn't want to feel needed in their own business,
Yeah.
like I totally get it. It makes
But that
total
was the goal, right? To outsource all of that stuff. And I got there and it was like, wait a second.
Mm,
It's so weird. So my coach was like, that's the point. That is what we want.
that's so true. That's such a good point. I'm so glad you said that. And then, again, I think everyone will understand how you mean
Yeah.
that, and it's just something that I think like Alex Hormozy talks about it. A lot of different people talk about it, that like with each solution comes new challenges
Oh my
that
gosh.
you need to figure out how to solve,
Yeah.
the ones that you keep leveling up. And if you think there's going to be a day where there's no challenges, you're in the wrong life. Like you're there's always going to be something. So
Always.
that makes total sense.
Yeah.
Could you maybe give a high level overview of like what the rest of the team looks like,
Yeah.
and what their functions are? And then it sounds
Sure.
like, and I guess the team, the functions, and then communication. That's always really interesting to hear. Like, does it all flow through that ops person and then to you? Do you have any engagement with that? But yeah, just team structure, roles, and then communication would be awesome.
Yeah, that's great. And I'm pulling up our HR dashboard as we speak,
Oh,
just
I
to
love it.
make
You
sure I
guys are
don't
so
forget.
organized.
I know, just so I don't forget anyone. Okay, so I mentioned we have a copywriter that helps like translate my thoughts and my voice. I leave her a lot of audio messages, so that's my interaction
Mm.
with her for the most part. And then she'll put out email copy. She's a email copy strategist, and so we love email. I have a media buyer, a Facebook ads media buyer. She sends us a Loom video every Monday to let us know how the numbers were last week, and then I interact with her from time to time and just ask for some clarifications. We have a CFO on our team. We brought in a CFO last year, and it was one of our best decisions ever.
Mm.
Yeah, so we get our bi-weekly dashboard so that we can assess how the numbers are looking, and can we afford to keep spending on ads? Did the ads work or did they not work? Those are the
Mhm.
questions. I have one sales closer on the team. So if one of our prospects come in and they're ready to go, they have a conversation with her. So we call her the advisor because she's doing a mutual vibe check. We have our avatar really dialed in, so she knows who's gonna, be a good fit, who's gonna do well, and who maybe is not the greatest fit. Let's see who else is on the list here. We have our client success. I mentioned that before. So he's client
Mhm.
success. He just comes alongside me. We interact a lot. We interact every day because we get requests from clients, and so I'm still the talent in
Mhm.
terms
Oh
of,
yeah.
yeah, I'm still the one. So that's my role, is to make sure fulfillment is going without a hitch. I'm the market analysis queen. I'm the listing optimization queen. And so he runs some of those questions by me. Now he has a really good FAQ where he can answer some questions independently of me, but not all of them.
Hmm.
And from there, we have a social media assistant that helps to make sure that we get a post sent out every day. So we have an entire like Airtable. That is a tool that's like the brains of our business. Airtable, it's a software where you just, it's your database, is where
Yep.
all your information. So all of our calls, all of our social media content is in there. And Tori had figured out a way to just automate all of it. So once it's approved, it just goes to the social media platforms. So it makes their job a whole lot easier. And from there, we have like 5 or 6 specialty coaches that I bring in, like a tax specialist coach, a dynamic pricing coach, and things like that. And let's see. Oh, and we have an automation specialist. So he's
Mm.
very part time. So whenever Tori gets into like the middle of oh, I just said her name. My ops manager gets into like say some friction around an automation, she'll outsource it to him to continue. She'll send a Loom video and say, "Hey, I got stuck here. I got to jump on another call. Take it from there." And he's able to just continue on. So she leans on him heavily as her backup because we're always automating, we're always innovating for sure.
Hmm. I
Yeah.
love that. And if you did, I do it too all the time. Sometimes I will forget someone on my team. Is there anyone or any part of the business that does anything related to like the management of the real estate? Or is that still mainly you, or is that a management company? What does that look like?
Yeah. So on the real estate side, so that was on the coaching side. So on the real estate side, I have a concierge front desk manager, and she has 3 individuals that works under her. Okay.
Gotcha.
And so on that side, I would say on the coaching side, most of our talent is US based and Canada based.
Cool.
On the real estate side, most are global talent, so primarily Philippines based, Filipino. And so I've got that manager, concierge manager. She takes care of all the guest communications relative to communicating not just with the guests, however, with the cleaning team and maintenance, and will escalate to me if anything is needed. And of course, our cleaners and maintenance are US based,
Yes.
obviously, because all of our properties are here in the US. Let me see. Yeah. And so the clean
Okay.
team is hit or miss. I don't have a specific number.
No, perfect. That thank you so much for that. That's really cool. Um, Gosh, I feel like I got to be picky with the topics just because I could ask you a million questions. You have such an awesome business. I feel like we could do a part two and three easily.
I'm here
Um,
for it.
just real quick, I guess two sort of like rapid fire questions
Yeah.
just before we move off team, and then I want to talk about some of the stuff that people pinged for you to come on and talk about. Is um, yeah, for your team, how have you or yeah, how have you thought about either bringing on contractors versus hiring, either like full-time people or, or not? Um, and then on the other side of it, like, have you ever implemented anything around, teams management, EOS, anything like that? Or did your EA understand a management philosophy that could sort of work? So I guess just employee versus outsource model, and then also how I guess the management structure on the team works.
So for my core roles, I wanted employee is a really dicey term, right? So
Yeah.
there's only like two or three employees in my business, but then there are a few full time. I just it gets a little dicey. So from an employee perspective, and we have to meet like certain criteria based on the state that they're in. And I got to
Hmm.
tell you, surprise, surprise, the states are so different. Like I wish I had known about what is it called? Like if someone gets hurt in the workplace, what is that called again?
Like
Workman's
liability
yeah,
or like
workman's comp.
yeah,
You have to still in certain states you have to pay into it even without anything having happened. It's like, oh my gosh. So now I'm being really specific. It's like, what state do you live in before
yeah.
I hire you? It's wild out there. So for the core roles, like for my executive assistant, operations manager, that has to be a full-time employee. With she does get benefits. I think that's important to retain that type of talent, and obviously they're worth it. I have my copywriter. I brought her on, but she's a contractor. She has another client as well, so she's not full time, but she gets paid really well. My closer, she's from Canada, and so she's on a contract as well. Is she on a contract? She's on straight commission right now. So whatever she brings in, she gets compensated from. So, I mean, that works well for me. So I think your core people, like if you look at your different business departments, like your fulfillment, right? So our
Hmm.
fulfillment is full time. My ops manager is full time. My I think you need someone in marketing, but my copywriter, she serves kind of marketing because the email marketing is our biggest and best traffic source and our lead source. So she's not full time, but I think you should get someone full time in marketing potentially. So maybe she and I, we kind of split that role somehow. Let me see. What departments am I missing? Our CFO, it's fractional CFO.
Oh wow,
So that's not full time.
cool. I love it.
And
That's
as far
awesome.
as a system though, no, we don't have one. I've been looking at EOS really hard. And I've been asking the question, am I an EOS girl? Am I an OKRs girl? So I have done a deep dive and evaluated all of them. And so we have our sprint meeting, my ops manager and I. She was on maternity leave earlier in the year. So we're starting our year off like now. It's kind of weird. So we have our sprint call this Thursday. And so I'm gonna bring it up to her. I think we need an operating system I don't know what it is. So I want to bring her the type of operating system that I think would be in most alignment with what we're already doing, because I don't want to upend anything that she's doing. I don't know if I'm an EOS person. And if you're an EOS person, everyone, eat your heart out. I know I'm probably saying sacrilegious things, but I don't know if I'm an EOS girl. I don't know if I can run L10 meetings. I don't know.
Totally. No one
I
size
got to
fits
figure it
all.
out.
It makes total sense. It
Yeah.
makes total sense. Thank you for that. All right, let's see. Yeah, this has been so fun catching up already, and we got off to a little bit of a late start. But I want to see if we can get in a few real estate questions
Yeah, we
before
dug
we.
deep, didn't we?
Yeah, it's great. You've been awesome. Like
Yeah.
your transparency and just the way that you have things set up is so cool. Um, so if I guess if we could start then on the real estate front, it seems like a specialty that a lot of people know
Yeah.
you for is insurance bookings, and then maybe direct bookings as well. Might be connected or not as much, but would you agree that is like a specialty of yours or something that you have a lot of experience in, or
Yeah.
did I maybe miss the mark on that?
No, no, no. That's me. I'm
Okay, cool.
specialized in midterm rental insurance bookings specifically.
Gotcha. And so I guess let's say, well, sometimes this works best. Again, selfishly, I have a few properties that
Yeah.
could be that we list as monthly minimums for a few different factors. We've dabbled with the insurance bookings, like getting listed on it, but I don't know if we gave it a full like effort that is needed. So I guess I'm curious, like if you were coaching me right now, where would you recommend that maybe I kind of should be starting, or the questions I should be thinking about as my base of like, okay, these are the databases to get listed on.
Yeah.
Start with these types of people, and it's just and also maybe a set on expectations of like, am I going to start getting bookings tomorrow, or is this something that does take time and you just need to be consistent with the effort? So I guess I'm looking for almost like a kickoff, and I'm sure a
Yeah.
lot of other people are in the same situation.
Yeah. So I have a framework. I call it my cover framework for those who maybe they don't have a property yet and they're looking to get started. And I think along the way, you'll find if you do have a property, how can I position it to get that visibility that's needed by the insurance company? So if you
Mhm.
haven't started, you want to choose wisely, right? You want to look at markets and properties that are a little bit more sought after based on the need of that type of guests. So insurance guests, they have unique needs. They're actually looking for a home away from home. And if you're in a community where it's a more mature community, you may have older guests. You may have guests who have some mobility constraints, special needs children. So I'm always looking for a property that has a full bedroom on the main level.
Mm.
Always. That is like my absolute favorite. If it's not a ranch, in Georgia, they call them ranches, like one level. I want one bedroom, one full bath on the main level for sure. And if I can't pull that off, I'm going to have my contractors come in and build that out. That's how important it is to me. From there, so that's C, choose wisely. O is for optimizing pricing. So you want to optimize your price because the insurance population and the insurance companies, they have a little bit more, revenue opportunity than a regular Joe Schmo, right? Coming off of the streets. So typically the pricing strategy that we use is based on about 20 to 25% of the property's rebuild value, where the guest is coming from. So if they're coming from a $500,000 home, the actual structures rebuild value, maybe it's $400,000, right? So 25% of that $400,000 is $100,000. And so that's per year per claim. So we divide that
Mm.
by 12, that's 83.33 per month. And so that is typically the fair rental value for a fully furnished property in that particular market. So going back to choose wisely, I'm not typically investing in markets where the properties are $56,000 because there's not going to be a lot of meat left on that bone. From there, value add. So COV, so cover, choose wisely, optimize pricing, value add. So now we're talking about the value add amenities. Master on the main, I'm back to that again. Pet friendly accommodations. Nobody's gonna put Fufu into the kennel for 3 months. It just not happening. Fufu is like the lifeblood of the family. And take it from me, I was never a pet lover until a few years back. My husband forced it on me. It's like, oh, now I've got three dogs, go big or go home. He introduced me to one. I said, I want two more. This is amazing. So
So funny.
all that to say, those pet, like they're obsessed. Like my dogs eat. I can starve, but my dogs will eat. And that's how people feel about their pets, especially going through something really traumatic. Like that is their emotional support. So value add amenities, make sure your space is conducive to being pet friendly stay and pet proof, right? We want solid wood floors and things like that to make sure that it's easy to clean. We want that master on the main. We're thinking about these things because our competition is not 65% of hosts do not want to be pet friendly. 65% of guests need pet friendly stays, right? Stand out from the crowd, right? That's an amenity you can turn on next month, right? Talk to your cleaners first, let them know. E is for exposure. Advertise your property on all the right platforms. However, make sure your calendar is set up in a way that it is being seen. So nothing burns my biscuits more where people are saying, oh, I just got this inquiry, but I've got these 2-night bookings peppered around April and May. I was like, you got to set up your calendar in a way that, first of all, you're being found, and then you are able to host for those longer stays. And part of that, there's actually a hack for that inside of Price Labs, which is a dynamic pricing tool that I use to price my properties. You can essentially set up a customization where any of your far out bookings prefers, or I would say favors, your far out booking favors longer stays, and then you're closer to like today's bookings favor shorter stays. So if in the next 10 days I have an opening, I can accept those 2-night bookings. However, further out, I won't accept those 2-night bookings. It's going to be 30-day minimums beyond the 10 days. Hopefully that makes sense. It's easier to see than to explain. So that's why I got
Yep.
a little bit turned around. So that's exposure. Advertise in all the places, and I'm going to talk about all the places in a moment. Make sure your calendar allows you to reach maximum visibility. And then R, last but not least, respond rapidly. Do not wait and say, well, I got this inquiry and I'm wondering what I should do. The answer is yes. No matter what the answer is, yes. Reach out to John, reach out to me. We will find someone to help support you if you can't host that particular stay. But you want to say yes. You want to be the yes girl, the yes man, because at the end of the day, if the inquirer, the insurance company, the third party reaches out to you and you say yes, they're going to say, oh my gosh, John is the type of person who's always looking for solutions for me. So he didn't have something, but he had a friend who had something. And then you're golden. They'll keep coming back to you versus, oh, you're hemming and hawing. You don't know, you don't have. It's a big world, right? Expand your horizons, get some friends, and make sure that you're saying yes every single time.
I love that. It's like you'll get it back if you can also help people find their way to fill their property. So it sounds like no matter what, there is a way that you can add value to someone.
Yeah, it's a team sport, 100%.
Cool. And Rachel, if I mean, we are pretty close on time here. If you have a few more minutes, awesome.
I
If not,
do.
if you have to, okay. So I
Yep.
guess just to kind of like tie off on that, like
Yeah.
then I think the place people get stuck, and maybe this isn't where they should get stuck, or maybe it is like, okay, let's say I have a property that checks some of those boxes. Like where is a good starting point for advertising? Is it jumping on Facebook groups? Is it calling the hospitals in my area? Is it calling other people in my area? Like if I am going to devote some time to this every day, let's say for the next 30 days, like where should I focus my efforts?
That's a great question. And I'm always asking about the 80/20 rules. Like, where could I focus 20% of my effort to get 80% of the results? Like it or not, and Mark Simpson's probably going to come for me, but like it or not, Airbnb is the 80/20. So maximizing your listing on Airbnb first and foremost is really important. Adding verbiage inside of the description that says we offer unlimited extensions, we offer month-to-month stays, designed with your family in mind, a peaceful, serene home where you can enjoy your stay while your property is being repaired. Like start to talk to them in such a way. We've gone as far as creating duplicate listings. I know a lot of people are like, yeah, the mortal, whatever, got it. But I'm just telling you what I did. Don't do what I'm doing if you don't feel comfortable with it. There's literally a link that says duplicate this listing. Which I was like, okay, I'll duplicate the listing. And so yes, you can create a different profile with another listing and have that month to month listing out there where you could either host that family or share that lead with someone else. So Airbnb, just optimizing it to the hilt is important. Having a calendar that's wide open that says I am open for business is the angle. From there, your second best step is to leverage the internal third party insurance company platforms. So there's a middleman that works with the insurance company, and it is called a temporary housing agent. Insurance companies, they're staying in their lane. They evaluate actuarial information, adjuster information. They're not in the housing business. So they have outsourced all of the housing delegation, right? They've outsourced all of that housing to a company that is focused on temporary housing. And those companies are ALE Solutions, MyKey, Alacrity, and on and on and on. So ensuring that you have your property listed on those platforms is really important. And the extra step that folks aren't taking is sending out a hot list every Monday. If we have an opening, we'll send out a hot list every Monday. Dan Housing is another one I forgot to mention. Every Monday, say, hey, it's still open. Hey, it's still open. And so we have seen great success doing that as well. There are some other hacks. I think those will give you maybe 10 to 15% more opportunities. I want to focus on the 80% first. So those hot lists. And then once you start to get some communications from those temporary housing agents, you now have a name. Say, Sarah, hey, Sarah, I've sent you my listing a few times. Is there anything coming up for you? Is there anything in any other markets coming up for you? You determine that you want to be a person of value for Sarah, who's probably stressed to the hilt because she's dealing with the Maui fires, she's dealing with the Palisades fires, she's dealing with so much, or he's dealing with so much. And so if you can be a person of value, that is very helpful as well. So number one, optimize your Airbnb listing. Make sure they know you're open for business. Number two, list on their internal platforms.
So good. Wow. And even just like as a quick start guide, that is super helpful. And I love that you mentioned like it's the 80/20 of what people could do. I think we might have to do a part two. I do have more questions. I don't want to go way over with you, but Rachel, what's the best way for people to get in touch with you, check you out? We'll link all your socials, but is there a favorite way that you like people to kind of follow what you're doing and get in touch?
Yeah, if you go to 75gems.com, that's the number seven, the number five, GEMS.com. I've listed the top cities that I like to invest in for both short and midterm rentals there. You can grab that list and all the links and everything else will be found there as well.
That is so awesome. Rachel, I just want to say thank you again for coming on. Guests like you make it really fun to just dig into the business, be super tactical, and then just figure out what we can do to add value to people. So it's really fun. Just want to say thanks for coming on, and again, wish you the best of luck for the rest of the year, and see if there's any more ways we can do stuff together. But thank you again.
Thanks for having me.
All right.